Here we go. So, hello, Latiesha Johnson. Welcome to your small business podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Janice.
I am so glad that you are here. So, of course, we got to start off with you telling us about yourself, who you are, who you serve, and how your entrepreneur journey has taken you to where you have landed today.
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Again, I'm Latiesha, and I started my entrepreneur journey. Is really interesting because I think we were talking about how I started in the news industry. And just for those who may not know me, I am a money and business strategist, a best-selling author, and I also am the founder of Wealth and Wellness Network, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yes.
I started my journey actually very early in my age. I started as a teenager. My father's side of the family were all entrepreneurs, but I grew up corporate. So I started working, went to school, got a bachelor's degree, started working in the news industry for one of the largest media companies in the world, worked production, later went over into the sales side once I went over to radio. And as I was moving up that corporate ladder, I realized that I had no control over my money. I didn't know how it worked or anything like that. And so I started working on my own personal finances. And I noticed that there was a gap, a gender gap, and when it came to our finances for women. So as I started my personal finance journey, I later decided to just go full throttle into financial services, where I really dived into full-time entrepreneurship. I had a financial services firm, and I was teaching families how money works. I was helping manage their money, teaching them budgeting. I had licenses to be able to invest people's money as well, whether it's retirement, emergency savings, also into the stock market. So I really was ramping this financial services firm up. I actually grew over a team over of 40 agents, and then the pandemic hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my business was about 90 to 95% of my business was face to face. So as you can imagine,
Mm.
the pandemic really changed how I did business, how I showed up for my
Mhm.
clients. And yeah, that's my entrepreneurial journey. And now I'm 100% fully digital, except for now that things are opening, I may start doing some in-person workshops and events. So yeah, that's how I
Oh,
got here.
that would be great. And when you do those in-person events and workshops, please let me know so I can, let the audience, the listeners know, so they can participate as well. I would love to know about that and get some links for you and send them out, all that good stuff. So
Thank you actually for
you're
the support.
welcome.
I mean, it's really all about just connection. That's really how you grow a business. And I can't wait to like talk more about like connection and collaboration, because that's what helped
Mhm.
me be able to grow, especially so quickly.
Yes, it is. And people don't realize that the whole connection. There's a lot of people that's like, oh, I don't like to talk to people.
Yep.
I don't want, I'd rather just be, the face behind the business, whatever. It's like, no, you have got to get out and talk to people and connect. That's only how you'll make it.
Absolutely. That's business. I mean, think about it. If you think of, what helps me, because I'm a visual person, I
Mm-hmm.
like to look at people or brands that are successful. Like, what are the things that they're doing in order to have been sustainable, right? So if you think of like let's just use brands that we all know. So
Mm-hmm.
like Starbucks, or the Walmarts, or the Pepsis. It really was all about connection. Now they have these large budgets we can't even fathom when it comes to marketing.
I
But
know.
when they first started, it was all about connecting with their audience. And that really is what business is about. If you don't have anyone to buy your product or service, then you're not in business. You have a hobby.
That's correct. That is correct. So today we're talking about how to build your audience and revenue without using paid ads.
Yes.
That's a biggie. That's a biggie because you know how a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs that just starting out, you just don't have the funds to put on Instagram and Facebook for those paid ads. And but you want to get your business out there. So tell us how you do that because you actually have built a membership of 2,000 people
Yeah.
and growing, and I am one of them.
Yay.
Yes, yes. So how did you do that without using paid ads?
Yes.
Let
Oh,
me get a piece of paper and a pencil.
that's a question, right?
Yes.
Well, before I jump into like exactly how I did, I would
Mhm.
love to like take you on a journey of what happened prior, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so very interesting. I mentioned about the pandemic happened, but not only did it happen, but I actually was stuck abroad for 6 months. And that's actually how my membership and app, Wealth and Wellness Network, came into play. So I happened to be stuck abroad during the beginning of the pandemic for 6 months because the
Wow.
borders were closed. So I was in a totally different country.
Wow.
Imagine that. So I went from being face to face to being stuck abroad and not knowing how in the world I was going to one connect with my existing audience, and then two, make money because I'm totally in a different country. This thing called COVID is happening, and it's like we don't know what's going to happen the next day, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So I was actually watching I was in a workshop and I was watching someone who was talking about creating an app, and I'm like, oh, I always wanted to do that, and maybe that's how I can connect with my folks. But I'm like, I don't code, I don't have time for that, and listen, my dollars are very limited right now because I'm not
Mhm.
even in my own country.
Right.
So I found out how to do it without coding. So I was like, great, awesome. And I thought originally it was going to be for me to be able to teach finances and how to build wealth to my existing clients, keep in contact with them digitally. But I started listening to the marketplace,
Mhm.
and I realized there were other women in business who had challenges because one, there's a new normal. Two, it's some of them were transitioning from offline to online. And then three, it's like, where are all the customers? How are we going to make money and sustain our business? So then I transitioned, like I basically pivoted from focusing on financial services, how money works, budgeting, investing, to really focusing on helping women entrepreneurs get exposure, get support and resources to help them grow their businesses and be just better entrepreneurs and women overall, right?
Yes.
So that's how the app was born. Now imagine being in another country, it's a pandemic, not knowing where your next client is going to come from, and limited funds at this point.
Wow.
So I did something, it's considered organic marketing. We've heard of that term, but
Mhm.
to be specific, attraction marketing.
Yes.
Now, some people may not be familiar with attraction marketing. So I actually combined different styles of marketing into one. So it was a mix of attraction marketing, influencer marketing, and I merged the two and created my own version of organic marketing. So here's exactly what I did. So
Okay.
again, I'm listening to the marketplace. I'm seeing other women entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs. They're struggling. They want a place. They want a community. They want support. So I create this app without any code, right? And I went from no one in there. I created a beta test market. So I put out there in these influencer marketing groups. I
Mhm.
started with Facebook groups, and I would use these influencers who had my ideal client, my target audience, right?
Right.
Instead of me paying ads, one, I'm on a limited budget. I don't even know when I'm getting home. Two, I'm still figuring out, I'm transitioning from full service financial services company
Mhm.
to really seeing how I can help basically solve a need for women that are like me, right? Who's in the
Right.
same boat. So I went to the influencer marketers, those who had Facebook groups that were, 100 plus or whatever amounts of women entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs. And what I did was I do what is called OPA. So using other people's audiences.
I
So
love, yes.
yeah, see,
Yes.
so there's something called uh OPM, which is in the financial world that says other people money. And I said,
Mhm.
let me use what I've learned in the financial space and use it to really market what I'm doing here with my community. So I created something called OPA, which is other people's audiences.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I used those influencers and I got in front of their target market. Now, disclaimer, I'm in front of their audiences. Now, disclaimer, I didn't do what the average person does, which is DM everyone who's a member in the Facebook group.
Mm,
No, no, no.
that's a no.
I know it's that is so old. The old way of doing things is spammy, and it actually repels people from wanting to do business with you, even if you have the service or the product that could change their life, right?
It
But
does.
what I oh sorry, yep.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. It does. It repels
Yeah,
them.
it repels because think about it. You're a consumer, so think of how you would feel if someone is spamming and they just slide in your DM and they're like, "Hey, I got this to sell. What's up? I could change your life." And you're like, "First of all, get to know me." So
Yeah.
what I did was I got the people that were audiences of those influencers to get to know me. So I started to share my expertise in their audience, in their groups. So I had something called Finance Fridays where I would get up there, go live, and just share,
Mhm.
just knock my knowledge out there. And they're like, "Ooh, this girl, okay, she's consistent. One, two, she knows what she's talking about." And then I would invite them over into my community, Wealth and Wellness Network, to learn more just in general. Hey, I focus on finances, but there's other women like yourself who specialize in different areas that can help you in business. So
Mhm.
that's how I got started. And then I started posting like, hey, check out this app. You've been following me. And in these influencers playground, their wheelhouse, their playhouses is what I call it. And it just started to grow. So using OPA, excuse me, is how I was able to grow it to over 2,000 people
Wow.
in less than a year.
That is awesome. And people need to, like I said, money can be tight and it's okay because you're just getting started. And even if you've been in business for 5 or 6 years, it is still okay. You don't have to use targeted ads to build up your audience.
Mhm.
I agree with you 100% because to leverage other people's Facebook groups is one of the best ways to build your audiences because
Yeah.
that audience they got your target audience right there in front of you. I do the same thing. I have about 3 groups that I do lives in weekly because I'm leveraging OPA. I love that. I'm leveraging OPA. It sounds like OPP.
Yeah, you know me.
But I'm using OPA to leverage their groups so more people can get to know me, know my podcast, know what I do. Because I'm about to soon have a membership with my courses. And that is exactly the way that I'm doing it. And so many people, other people should do it too, is Facebook groups. They are, oh, it's a diamond.
It's a diamond.
Oh.
And something you said was leverage. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's two things I want to point out that you said. You said leverage and then you said targeted. So leveraging is actually one of the smart ways of doing business because you can either what do they say, work hard or work smart,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And leveraging is working smart because although the process may be a little bit slower at the start, it actually gives you credibility because you're connected to these groups or whoever that influencer is who already has proven themselves. So it
Mm-hmm.
only makes sense to do it. It does take time, it
Yes.
does take consistency, but listen, if you're in this because you want it to be a business, not a hobby, then it's worth it. It's worth it. Slow and steady does win the race. And guess what? When you're working smart, it's really not even slow. It's actually, once you get to a peak, you'll hit momentum
Yes.
and it's over. The other thing you mentioned was targeted. So a lot of times as entrepreneurs, I'm guilty of this too. I've done it. And I have to reel myself in when I want to go back to that because it seems easy.
Mm-hmm.
We just jump into, oh, I'm going to just do some Facebook ads, or I'm going to do, flyers for this, or I'm just going to attend, I'm going to be a vendor at whatever event. And we don't really know who our client avatar is. And what a client avatar is someone who is your ideal client. Like you have it down to the science, not just demographics,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to change that where I was like, women entrepreneurs, that's so generic.
Yeah.
You got to think of the psychographics as well, which is how they think, why they buy, where they shop, what's their interests. And then when you actually do ads, then you'll be able to be successful and not lose money. You'll actually make money, have that ROI, return on your investment. So when you do organic marketing, or the way that we're talking about it, where you're leveraging other people, you actually learn, you're
Mm-hmm.
able to tweak and shape it. So when you do get ready to do paid advertisements, it's hitting, it's landing.
Mm-hmm. Every time. You're not wasting your money targeting people that don't care about what you're talking about, basically.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. That's some good value gems you're dropping off there. So after a person finds their niche and their products and services they want to sell, what is the next thing they must do to find their target audience? Like how, let's keep it with the Facebook groups.
Mhm.
How can they find their target audience using the Facebook groups?
Yeah, so we alluded to it earlier, because like
Mm-hmm.
you said, once you find your niche, it's very important, before you start trying to go out there and help everyone all over the world, that you streamline it. You narrow it down to exactly who it is you're helping. Because once you do that, Facebook is so awesome, and how they're able, like, they use targeting on us all the time, right? Hence why
Mm-hmm.
we'll see an ad that we're not even like, we'll look at something, and then we go on to Facebook and now we see an ad for
Yes.
it. So they have these algorithms, and we're not going to get into all that because that's not important. But utilizing the groups can help you do that. But it doesn't help if you don't really niche down and really create that client avatar, because now you're in 50 different Facebook groups and you're
Mm-hmm.
becoming overwhelmed, you're getting burned out, and now you spend so much time in just noise instead of really growing your business and
Mm-hmm.
getting it in front of the right people so you can make sales. Because again, in order to have a business, you have to make money. If you
Yeah.
don't make money, it's a hobby.
Right, right. It's not a business till you make a dollar or 1 cent at least. Okay.
Something, right. So after you narrow it down and really have a clear understanding of who you are working with, and again, it can evolve, you can pivot, you can change, but once you have a
Mhm.
clear understanding, then that's when you can utilize all the wonderful targeting ideas that Facebook comes up with. So one way is influencer marketing. So whoever your target is, find other people who have those types of people in their group, because many of them are always seeking content. Think about it. If they have, let's say, 10 or 50 or 100,000 people plus, that means that they need content to keep them engaged. So they're looking for people like us who can provide content, right?
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
one way, right? Another way is, again, utilizing Facebook groups in a different way, is building connection. So if someone's in a Facebook group and they're posting or liking, that means they're seeking something. They're
Mhm.
looking for something. So connecting with those that are in there, not the sliding in the DM
Yeah.
is cold. No, I'm not saying that way, but engaging on the posts. So commenting. I mean, if you see someone post saying, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z in business, and I'm looking for a business coach, or, what do you suggest for A? And that's something that you specialize in or something that you have knowledge in, comment, not saying, here's my product or service, but say, here's a suggestion. This is what helped me. And then that person, then you start a conversation, you have dialogue. And what that does is that sets you up as the authority, which
Mhm.
later can translate over into business.
Exactly.
So utilizing Facebook groups in that way can really set you up for success. And then, like I said, once you really get an understanding of who your audience is and what they want, then you can go into the paid advertisement and other things. The third thing I want to mention too, while I'm thinking about it,
Mhm.
is that you can utilize Facebook groups for market research. And that's what has helped me grow it, not only with the just putting my what I do out there, but market research. I spend on average about, I'll say, 2 hours roughly, just paying attention, and not every day, this is over the course of a week.
Okay.
I make it a point to spend about 2 hours roughly just paying attention to what people are saying. So not just commenting, Not just, ooh, let me see if I can, slide into their DM because they said they needed. No, not that. But like paying attention to what are the concerns. Because if someone's in that group and that group has your ideal target market in there, that means that their concerns, their interests, what keeps them up at night, they're talking about it.
Yes, they are.
So if you're looking to create a course or a program, or you're just trying to find I hate the word try, but if you're looking to adjust and really get an understanding, all the information you need is right there. That's your data right there.
It is. It really is, because you notice that in those groups, people I've noticed. I'm in one group. It has like over 500,000 women. It's like
Mhm,
one of the biggest groups that I have been in, and it's just women entrepreneurs. And
mhm,
a lot of people will just go on and say, "Hey, what do you need in your business?
mhm.
To make your business easier, what would that be?" And after they make that, they post that question, there's about 1,500
Yes,
answers, and everybody's saying what they need, what they want. And for someone who is doing market research, all you gotta do is read those comments, and you have everything right there. They're telling you what you need, what they
mhm.
need. Now all you gotta do is supply it, and boom, shoe in. It's that easy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we need to do as entrepreneurs. We need to take the time. Like preparation is key. We get so like I call it trigger happy, where
Hmm.
we just want to jump and go into it. I have a product, a service. I'm so excited about this. This is my baby. And we just want to jump in. And it's like we're jumping into a pond where it's empty and
Yeah.
it's so massive and it's big, and it's like we're not going to catch any fish. But if we have a hook, what I like to call the hook, and we put some bait on it because we've been paying
Hmm.
attention and we know that our type of quote unquote fish is there, when we put that hook in, they're going to be attracted. You're going to go home with some fish.
Yes, you are. Fry it up and eat it
Fry it up and eat it.
with some cornbread and some beans. I'm gonna
Yes,
make myself hungry.
definitely need that. Am I hungry? Is that why I made that analogy? Maybe
I mean, you might need to eat lunch. It is around lunchtime. But you're exactly right. And I want to go back too about the target, because there's by niching down, because a lot of people, especially when, like you said, you start that business, you're excited, and they don't want to niche down because they're thinking, oh, the whole world can buy my service. Everybody can use this, and they're scared because they want to make all this money and get all of this attention and posts and shares and all that, and not realizing that they're hurting their business, not niching down. What do you say to people who don't want to niche down? They want to just give it to everybody.
So, I like to call myself the mama bear because I give it to you straight, but then I can nurture you at the same time. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm going to make you feel good after I say what I'm going to say. So although what you have can save the whole planet, guess what? You're not for everybody. You just are not.
Yeah.
Some people will not resonate with you. You may not be able to identify, or they may not be able to identify with you. And guess what? In entrepreneurship, we get to choose.
Yes.
It's different from working with a job where it's like, look, you show up and whoever your colleagues are your colleagues. You just got to suck it up. But you get to
Mhm.
choose. So because you niche down, it does not mean that you limit yourself. Actually, niching down actually shows that you know what you're talking about. It shows that you're an authority in a specific space, and it shows that you're serious, because guess what everybody else is doing? Casting a wide net.
Mhm.
And if you're casting a wide net, you're spreading yourself too thin, you get overwhelmed, you get burned out,
Yeah.
and guess what? You get crickets, zero cells or little to no cells.
Mhm.
Crickets. The reason why I can speak passionate about this is because I've done this for so many years. I'm like, I know what I can do. And then I thought I narrowed it down when I said, okay, women. And then I realized, well, women what? And then I narrowed it down to women in business. And it's like, okay, what type? Like,
Yeah.
break it down.
Don't keep going. Yes.
So then you go from being a quote unquote a light, like a lighthouse, to not being your light being so dim. Because
Mhm.
one, when you're online, especially, there's so much noise. So what makes you stand apart? What makes you the ideal person? When you niche down and really can identify who you want to serve, then you speak directly to them. And then they're connected to you. Then they're like, oh, that's my girl because she's speaking my language, right?
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, you know what? This is the answers to my prayers because you're hitting specific messaging that they can identify with, certain words, keywords, certain experiences,
Mm-hmm.
because you have narrowed down who you want to catch, so to speak. And guess what happens? When you're good at what you do, you're going to get people from all over the place.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's like a good movie. People refer you. It's like a think of something going viral. When it's good, it's good. And everyone's gonna know about it.
Right, exactly. Great key points. Let's talk about your wonderful app that I love, your Wealth and Wellness Network app. So, how did you come up with the Well, you've already talked about how you came up with the idea. You saw that gap that what women were needing. But what steps did you take to make that endeavor into reality? Because to make an app, that's a whole different world than making a course or writing a book. This is the whole app. So how did you do that?
Yeah. So well, I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent. I cannot take the credit for building the app from scratch. I did
Mm-hmm.
not. I actually partner with a software development company who actually allows you to utilize this technology, so I didn't have to code. So thank the Most High for that.
Yes.
But I did my research, right? And like I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned earlier, I was, attending a workshop, and this is why it's important with investing in yourself, because then you learn things and then you become competent. And competence breeds confidence,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
love
because
that.
confidence, I'll say it one more time.
Yeah.
Confidence breeds confidence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're competent, when you know something, you can actually be confident and share what you have to give to the world. More, you can really show up for yourself. So because I attended that event during the pandemic, while I was stuck abroad, so I
Mm-hmm.
got over myself, no excuses. And I found out about this company that would do it so inexpensively. And I knew once I created that app, okay, I have to give them something. I don't want to burn myself out. I'm already figuring out some things on my personal life because of what was going on. So, how can I bring the women what they need and not put all the work on myself? One, because I have a lot going on in my personal life. And two, I can't be everything to everyone, like we
Yeah.
just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. So I started reaching out, utilizing groups again, and some of my network, and connected with women who wanted to share, had expertise, have a lot to give, who
Mm-hmm.
had certain expertise, especially in the areas where I just didn't know. And then they start to help me create the content and keep the members engaged. So that was the step one, was getting access to the app. Two, creating the content. And then three, really building those relationships with my members. And that's the stage that I'm at with now, where we do polls. We're starting to we have live events. And when I say live, they're virtual live events. So whether I go live, do a training, we have our second annual uh, virtual summit coming up. So that's a 2-day, all day workshops, different areas: mindset, money, marketing, productivity, how to balance career and business. Just really to, one, connect with our audience, our members. I hate to say audience, our members,
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood. So I like to say my sisters, to connect with our sisters, to give them the goods, right? And then also to give them exposure. Because one of the things that we do with the Wealth and Wellness Network app is we give women entrepreneurs, like a lot of your listeners are, um, and viewers are, we give them the opportunity to get exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So through our virtual events, through being able to post, we have theme days, so you can post things that you're doing. We
Mm-hmm.
actually have a paid membership that's going to be officially coming out. We had a beta test for it. It's going to be officially coming out, where you can actually promote what you do. You can promote your events. You can, share your expertise, and then, something called an upsell, where you talk about what course or program or whatever you have to offer, but showing yourself as an authoritative
Mm-hmm.
um, person first. And then extending that, we also have a Medieval, which features, right now it's approximately, we're building it now, so we have over 2025 on demand videos where you can learn different things from different members who are awesome in their own way. And these are women that's all over the world. We're in 42 countries right now, and we're growing. And it's that's basically the steps that I took. So let me break it down like this. First,
Mm-hmm.
identify what it is you want to do. Two, find the system that will help you do it, or the team. And then three, implement it, and constantly um, track and revamp, change, track, revamp, and rinse and repeat those things.
Wow, that is so awesome. I hope people have their pieces of paper and their pencils or their notes app and taking notes, because that's amazing. It really is. Because most people don't even think about an app. They think about making the groups and different things, but a whole app, like I said, it's a whole nother thing. But it's very lucrative.
It's very lucrative. And one of the reasons why, like originally I told you, the initial reason why is because, I wanted to connect with my audience, then I listened to the marketplace. But the reason why we stayed and decided to take this thing to the next level is because I realized, and no disclaimer, Facebook groups work, social media, like Clubhouse and all those things work. But I realized, as I was in Facebook groups, as an example, I'll speak to Facebook groups, that it was the same main mundane thing. And I wanted to give women the opportunity who were tired and burned out from those Facebook groups, because it
Mhm.
was just the same thing. They were tired of it. They felt like they weren't growing. And then all of the whole spammy DM stuff, they just were
Yeah.
over it, especially the professionals who's coming from a professional space. It doesn't work with them. So I wanted to give them a safe space that was professional, that allowed them to grow, and then where we could also have some flexibility. Because one thing about social media, we don't own it. So when Facebook, as an example, or metaverse, whatever we're going to call it, Meta wants to
Whatever.
shut down, right? When they want to shut down for a whole day, which happened literally a couple months ago,
Hmm.
then what happens, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I try to stress it too to my audience about, having your email list and all that good stuff, because it's great to have all of these people on Facebook, your followers, and they're liking and you're commenting. But like you said, if it shuts down, then what do you do?
Nothing.
You might not even make money that day just because Instagram is just messed up. No one can log in or whatever the technical issues is. So you got to have some other place besides that social media platform that your audience can go to get to you, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's where your app comes in, because you're always there on that app. Yes.
That's
Awesome.
right. Check it out. app.wealthandwellnessnetwork.com.
Yes.
App.wealthandwellnessnetwork.com.
And of course, I'll make sure that it's in the show notes. All of your links are going to be in the show notes, even to your books and all that good stuff. But yeah, that app is totally awesome. It is. I enjoy being on it.
Thank
I
you.
do. So everyone, always talks about how much you need to be on social media, because we're talking about, of course, using the Facebook groups to to grow your business. So how many times a week do you think you need to show up on social media?
Well, I would say it definitely varies. It
Mhm.
really depends on your audience, right? For me, so the way I show up on my personal pages are different from my business pages. The business pages, so let's just use Wealth and Wellness Network as an example. We do no less than 3 times a week. And what happens is, what's more important, I'll put it this way, what's more important is what you post,
Yes.
than how much you post. Others won't agree, but I'm telling you from my own experience, because my thing is, if you're posting for the sake of posting, you're not adding any value, and you're not setting yourself apart, because again, online is a noisy space, especially now
Mm-hmm.
that majority of people are online now, right?
Yes.
Because due to the situation. So it's really important what you post, and you want to do variety. So I use the 80-20 rule, especially with my personal life. Business is a little bit different, my business pages, but let's use my personal page as an example. So I do the 80-20 rule. So 80% is me, my lifestyle, what I like, just so people feel like they get to know me, right? Because the thing is, people are trying, looking to figure out, is this my girl? Can I
Mm-hmm.
trust her? Do I like her? The like, know, and trust factor.
Yeah.
So 80% is my personal self, right? Me showing up as me. And I might do, little shameless business plugs. 20% of that is me promoting my business. Not just outright like, hey, drop a link, here's my new product, but really just showing things about my business, whether it's a testimonial, whether it's like, hey, look, we'll be doing the app. Oh, we're live now. Oh, check this out. This is nice. Just so people can be like, ooh, wow, that's engaging, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they've gotten enough chance to get to know me first. So when I showcase what I can do that could potentially help them, they're like, oh, it's a no-brainer. On the business pages, because it's a business page, we focus on the business, but it's still a variety. So um I know for my audience, inspiration. So we do inspirational quotes. We do engagement. So that's usually something with the question, or it's promoting kind of what they do, or promoting, highlighting someone in the app or somebody that did something great. And then 3, the promotional piece. So that's either something where we're like, we're doing this, we have this rolling out, join the app, that sort of thing. But it's a variety. It's a variety. It's not just me going, hey, here's my product service. Hey, this is my product
Yes.
service. Hey, here's my product service. It really is about what you're posting. And again, if you're in Facebook groups, if you're, paying attention to the marketplace, you're going to know what to post.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. Because it's so spammy to do that. If every single post is buy this, buy this, buy that, I guarantee you no one is going to buy, because it seems like that's all you care about. You just want my money. That's all. You're not going to tell me anything good. You're not going to educate me. You're just going to want me to buy. Like, I don't like you. That's what, that's usually
Absolutely.
how it happens. And they just scroll on past your post. You got to give them something else besides
Exactly.
that.
And it's what separates you, separates you from the rest, and we have to, and I think, again, this is my personal opinion based off of all of the entrepreneurial women that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we get so inundated with so much noise, and we also get so caught up in what it is that we're doing, that we don't think like a consumer.
Right. Yes.
So we end up doing the same thing that we don't like. So we get inundated with buy this, that. We end up doing it. And then we get so caught up in, oh, I gotta get this is my baby. I have to sell it. That we end up, that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We have to think like a consumer. We're a consumer. So the things that we don't like, most likely your audience won't like.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That is the way. I think when you are trying to come up with your content strategy, and what you're going to post, that's the mindset that you need to be in. Have that consumer mindset. That's another good reason why you need to know your target audience. What does she want to see? I'm just going to say she, could be she, he, whatever. But what does she want to see? What does she need right now? What does she need to know right now? You got to have yourself in that mindset before you post, buy this, buy this, buy that.
Absolutely. And again, once you have that like, know, and trust factor, then when you do post something about a product, a service, an event, people are like, heck yeah, I want to show up because I know I'm going to get the goods.
Yes.
People are in it for them. What is in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to get away? What is going to be the tick away? If you're just saying buy this, you're now in it for yourself. So
Yes.
you're not helping. You're not coming from a place of love, care, and being able to help the world. So it won't be reciprocated.
That is it. That's exactly it. I love how you said that. When you're just posting, buy this, buy that, you're in it for yourself. But when you post some value, some education, even some funny posts, people love funny stuff. You
Yeah,
know, posting something funny that kind of has something to do with your niche, people love it. And that shows that you're trying to entertain them. It shows that, hey, I'm not just in this for me. This isn't about me. It's about y'all and what y'all need.
that's right.
Exactly. That's exactly what people need to be doing. So let's hit on your Amazon bestsellers. You got, I think you have 5 books. No, no, no. I'm thinking of the title. The
Yes.
bestseller book is 5 money mistakes that
But
are
thanks for
costing you a
speaking that
fortune.
into thank you for speaking that into existence. 5 books. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Manifest, honey, manifest that. Yes, yes. It's 5 money mistakes that are costing you a fortune. Love that title. So, of course, I don't want you to give away all your secret sauce, but let's discuss some common money mistakes that most people make.
Well, in general, there's so many. It depends on who you are, what
Yeah.
your financial situation is. But the reason why I came up with the 5, because these are the most common ones, specifically for those that are in North America. So I know people are all over the world may be listening, but I came up with these based off of what I've seen in my experience of being in the financial services space and what I've heard in the marketplace, the 5. And one that is applicable to entrepreneurs is not knowing your numbers. Woo. Listen, let me break this down for you, because most entrepreneurs are in business and they want to make money, but when it comes to the numbers, they're just like they fly away. They want to go and hide
Yeah.
and just like go under a rock. But the
It,
bottom line is your bottom line. The bottom line is your bottom line. If you don't know your numbers, it's going to be extremely difficult, slim to none chance that you will actually hit your financial targets.
yes.
And I know, especially as women, because we're very heartfelt and we come from a place of, usually a want to help and support and nurture people. We don't really want to talk about the money because it's like, I just want to help everyone. I want to save the world. But
Yeah.
let's be honest. You could have helped people. You could have done the same thing with a job. But with entrepreneurship, you have the flexibility and you also have the freedom to do that. So
Hmm.
it has to be about making sure you make money. So you
Yeah.
can do the things that you need to do. You can help your family. You can, give to charity or whatever it is that your desire is. So I just wanted to put that out there first. Now, what I mean by not knowing your numbers is exactly that.
Hmm.
You know, let's just say for easy math, right? Let's just say you want to hit 100,000 a year, right? You can't just say I want to hit 100,000 a year. You actually have to know the numbers in order to be able to take the proper steps to do it.
Hmm.
The numbers, the data is really important. So I do something with my clients that it's called working backwards. I didn't make this up. It's out there. Working
Hmm.
backwards. So I'm going to give you an example. So 100,000 a year, right? Break that down for 12 months. That's roughly about $8,333, something of that sort to that.
Ooh, you're good at math. I suck at math. Like that quick.
Don't test me though. Don't test me. But it's like 8,300 and something. And then when you break that down, okay, so that's per month, right?
Hmm.
Break that down per month by week. That's a little over 2,000, and then break it down by day. So once you know that, then you can say, okay, now that I have to make at least 2,000 a week, over 8,000 a month, how much is that going to equate into how much I need to sell in product?
Right.
Or how many clients will I need to get in order to hit that number? That's the baseline. Once you
Hmm.
know that, then when you have those days when it's like you want to crawl up in bed, those days when you get a gazillion no's, you'll keep going because you have a target and you know what you're striving for,
Yes. Yeah.
right? You're not just shooting a bow and arrow blindfolded. You have a target. So that's the baseline, is just knowing those numbers first. And then going, once more advanced, once you really start generating clients or leads, really understanding your numbers for that, your ROI, really understanding, like for example, online, most entrepreneurs don't even know that the average conversion rate is between 1 to 3% to get a sale. Most of them don't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, if you have, let's just say you have a landing page, not to get into technical, but let's just say you have a landing page, right? And you have a free download for like an ebook, right? And you're getting leads to that page. And let's say it's 100 people, right? And usually it's, if you get 100 people to that page, it might be 20 to 30% that actually do it, right? That do this, the call to action, which is put in their email and exchange for the ebook. If you then later want to sell them a program or a course or an event through email marketing or whatever strategy, just know it's going to be roughly 1 to 3%.
Yeah.
It could be more once you get good at it. Like, for example, when I was in financial services, I started hitting about, 50 to 70%. But my leads, I would go through hundreds of people before I even sat down and booked appointments. So you have to know your numbers, but start first with actually knowing your financial targets, because then you'll start implementing the right things to hit your goals. I know that was a lot.
Hey, like I said, I tell my audience all the time, I need you to make sure that you have your pieces of paper and pencils out when you listen to my podcast, because we are dropping valuable gems here, and you got to, hey, it's okay. They can rewind and go back.
That's right.
they can listen again. Just listen 3, 4, 5 times. Get my downloads up there, right?
That's right.
All the information. But you're exactly right, and it is a lot. But when it comes to your business, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it, and you have to know all the details to make yourself successful. And it just is what it is. But you're exactly right. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know how much your conversion rate when it comes to your post and your landing pages, you just playing around, really.
It's a hobby at this point.
Yeah, it's a hobby.
And I will say this because, a lot of times we get into entrepreneurship and we're overwhelmed because we want to do everything, because a number of reasons. It could be financial. It could be we just don't know what we don't know. So I want to be clear on this. Like, you don't have to be the expert at everything. Right. You can do one of 3 things. 1, hire a coach or mentor. Save you a lot of time, money, headaches, and energy. 2, get a team. Yeah. If you can afford one. It doesn't have to necessarily be a full-time employee. A VA that might be good at analytics, for example, a partner in crime, collaborations. Yeah, I mean, there's other entrepreneurs, we're collaborating right now. I'm on her podcast, and I'm sure she best believe I'm going to come back around and say, hey girl, I got an idea.
Thank you.
And last but not least, the third thing is becoming competent yourself. Invest in yourself. Yeah. This is a business, not a hobby, right? I think we're speaking to like actual entrepreneurs, people in business, right? So this isn't a hobby. This isn't something just a fly by night where you're like, I'm trying it out to see how it works and see if it sticks. You're really doing this because you believe in it and you want it to work. So you have to invest in yourself. Workshop classes, listening to, downloading podcasts, being a part of, Wealth and Wellness Network community and groups and things like that. That's going to help feed you so you can learn the things that you need in order to be successful. Because guess what? Your success is worth it.
Yes. It's all on you. It's all on you. I think a lot of people too, when you talk about investing in yourself, I know a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs that don't want to do that. Of course they want to take all the free, but as soon as, it's a course or, a webinar or something, they don't want to invest in it. And it's like, if you really want to learn and really educate yourself, and know that you're worth it and your business is worth it, you have to spend a little bit to get the education that you need. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. This is for the audience. Think about it. You're dentist or your doctor or anyone with a specialized profession, would you go to them if they never went to school to get the education?
That is a good point.
So,
No.
so why would you expect people to invest in your product or service if you're not willing to invest in yourself to make sure you're the best?
Yes, yes. We having church in here this morning. Amen.
Come
Right.
on.
Because it looks like if you don't invest in yourself, then you don't believe in yourself.
You
You
don't.
don't want to spend a little extra money to make sure that you're giving out what your audience needs. That means you don't believe in your business. You don't even believe in what you're saying right now if you don't want to invest in yourself.
That's right.
So,
And it shows that who's serious, because
mhm.
anyone who's serious will get it done. And that's what will hold you accountable also. Because if you're one, especially if you're just starting out, or if you're one where you have so much going on, it holds you accountable too. Because for example, right? I have and I believe in having coaches in different spaces if you need it, not necessarily
Mhm.
just having one coach, because usually you don't have one coach that's like the end all be all and is great in every area, right?
Yeah.
But I know I have coaches, right? I have one coach who she does international work. She's like an auntie to me, right? And is in the financial space, but she helps me stay on point. Like
Yeah.
we don't get into all the marketing data and the systems. Nah, no. Specifically with her, I come to her and she would give me the real and say, knock it out. You know, the accountability that you get when you do invest in yourself, when you are a part of, let's say, a group coaching program, you get accountability from those that are going in this, that are doing it with you, as well as the person who's teaching you.
Right.
Investing in yourself, one, helps you get remember, competence
Yes.
breeds confidence,
Yes.
and it also helps you be held accountable.
It does. You're so right about that accountability because when you spend your own money, you're gonna do it. Like, okay, I
Yep.
spent $200 on this course. I'm gonna do it from point A to point Z because I got to get my money's worth out of it, and that
And if
definitely
you
will hold you accountable. Yes.
Right. And if you don't feel like doing it or don't want to do it or you fall off, then you feel guilty. And then you're like, okay, let me get back on the horse.
Yeah, because you don't want to feel like you wasted your money, like with your app. It's like, okay, I spent X amount to get on this app so I can grow my business and collab and stuff. And so if you pay and then do nothing, you just wasted your money.
That's
And
right.
you're not doing anything to make your business grow. That should really make you feel guilty.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So I'm all about getting freebies if you need it, especially if you're looking to just get started. But you have to invest yourself to go to the next step, because that separates the real from the fake, is what I like to say.
Definitely. That is so great. So we have hit on some great key points that instead of using paid ads, utilize Facebook groups 100%. It is so, you know money. You don't even have to invest in it. Just pay attention.
Pay attention. And that's the investment, your time and energy and paying
Yes.
attention.
So many good points. That I'm trying to think of other good points, but like really everything we talked about was a good point. The whole entire episode is awesome. So how can we connect with you online with your websites and everything? So if someone wants to get off of here and go straight to you, how will they do that?
Absolutely. So my name is very simple. It's LatieshaJohnson.com. That's LAT, like Tom E, like Elizabeth, ISHA Johnson.com. There you'll see, you can find out more about the book, 5 Money Mistakes That Are Costing You a Fortune. I have a course also called Financial Toolkit. So if you want to get your personal finances in order. And last but definitely not least is the Wealth and Wellness Network app. You can actually go from my website straight there, or if you want to just go directly there yourself, you can get it for free. That's app at .wealthandwellnessnetwork.com, app.wealthandwellnessnetwork.com.
That is so awesome. So now to round to to end this. Of course, I played just a minute of the this or that game. I don't know why. Everybody loves it. I just had an idea one day and was like, I need to do something fun. And this or that seems to be what it is. So just a quick few. And then two people like to get to know you a little bit better as well.
Okay.
And it's just something fun. So we'll just do a few. Would you rather have do a vacation or a staycation?
Oh, vacation. Love to
I
travel.
know, right? I like to be at home too, but ooh, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Especially now. I have to get a vacation. Couldn't travel for a
Exactly.
while.
Yes. Would you this or that lose sleep or skip a meal?
Oh, lose sleep. Because
Lose sleep.
I mean, my family would tell you I do not skip no meals. I love food. I'm a foodie. So
I
lose
know.
sleep.
Me too. Me too. French fries or onion rings?
Hmm. French fries.
French fries. Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
Instagram. Are you on Twitter?
No,
I
and
think my
don't
bad.
tell anyone because I should be, because some of my audience is there.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll see.
am, but don't you use it very much. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, yeah. Twitter. I don't know. I don't know. Pizza or Chinese food?
Ooh, that's a good one. Pizza, because I love Italian.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to eat after this.
I know. We've been talking about food all day. French fries,
I
pizza.
know, right? I can just ask food questions. Meatloaf and steak. Which?
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. Win the lottery or land? Well, I was gonna say land your dream job, but look like you're already at your dream job.
Well, we're still working at, to
Yeah.
really create the dream, the full picture of the dream. So dream job.
Okay. Okay. And we'll do one more: free lunch or free dessert. This food is always food.
Woo wee.
Yeah.
Can I choose both? Because it's food.
It's like really it's one meal when
Uh,
you do a free lunch
yeah,
and a free
because
meal, a free dessert.
exactly.
But just for the game, pick one: free lunch, free dessert.
I'll do lunch because I'm doing my best to be better with the snacks and the the sugar and the
Hard,
sweet.
isn't it? It is hard. I actually had gastric bypass surgery and I can't have
Oh
sugar. And you know what? It ain't that big of a deal. It's not. It hasn't been that bad for me.
yeah, yeah. It's just a mindset thing. For me, I don't do too much of like candies. It's
Mhm.
something about like cake. But and
Yeah.
my birthday just passed last week. So yeah, I had a
Yeah.
good old time. But I've been doing great. I just load if I need sugar, load up those fruits.
Yes, and they have a lot of sugar in them. They do.
Exactly.
Bananas and pineapples and all that. So really, if you have a sweet tooth, you have eat fruit. You should be good to go. I guess
Exactly.
that's easy to say.
So easy, right?
It is. But thank you so much for being on the show, and I definitely will have to have you back again. I so appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope that this was of value to everyone listening. And feel free to reach out to me. I'm definitely here to help, and you have my website. Check out the app. I'm here to help you all.
This is great. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again.
See ya.